All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving headfirst into a story from the book of Genesis.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's one filled with, like, all the good stuff, right? Family drama, jealousy, and a twist of fate.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's going to leave you like, whoa, wait, what?
For sure.
So, I mean, just imagine for a second finding out that, your brother, the one you sold into slavery, like years and years ago, is now like the most powerful person in all of Egypt.
Oh, yeah, that would be a little bit awkward.
Right, it'd be a little bit awkward.
Just a tad.
Yeah, just a smidge.
It really is a story that just, you read it today and it's like, man, this is as old as time.
Yeah.
It's still relevant.
Absolutely.
But before we jump into, this crazy reveal and everything, I think it's important to, like, kind of set the stage a little bit.
Okay.
The story of Joseph and his brothers, I mean, it's a classic sibling rivalry.
Classic.
Gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like, really wrong.
Real wrong.
So you've got Joseph, this favored son, right? Like, the favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got his brothers who were,
Not so much.
not too happy about it.
Yeah.
Not thrilled at all about his special treatment.
Right, so the jealousy just, like, eats away at them.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where they're like, okay, that's it, we're selling him into slavery.
Yeah, and it's such a powerful example, of how just these negative emotions, like,
for sure.
they can really just consume us.
Oh, yeah.
And drive us to make decisions that, like,
you never think.
we never thought we would.
Right.
I mean, to sell your own brother, come on.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme.
It's a little extreme, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
So Joseph ends up in Egypt, and, years go by, and then boom,
Not
famine
yet.
hits the land.
Where his family is.
Back home where his family is.
Yep.
And they're forced to travel to, you guessed it,
Oh, no.
to Egypt to seek help.
Oh, the iron.
To seek help from the very brother they betrayed.
Right. What are the chances of that? Like, what?
We can't make this stuff up.
Seriously, this is like straight out of, a movie or something.
Oh, it's incredible.
But wait, it gets even crazier.
Oh, it's so much better.
Okay, because Joseph isn't just some, random dude living in Egypt. Like, he has climbed the ranks.
Oh, yeah.
He's second in command to the Pharaoh.
Second only to Pharaoh himself.
Talk about a plot twist. Like,
I know. Talk about a power dynamic shift.
right. The tables have turned.
Completely turned.
Oh, wow. The tension.
You got it with a knife.
Right. It's got to be, like, so thick.
So thick.
You could, I don't even know, like.
But it's this power dynamic, though, that I think is so important for us to like, grasp.
Okay.
Because it really highlights the emotional, like, weight of what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Because, Joseph's he's not the vulnerable little brother anymore.
Right.
He holds all the cards.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He holds their fate in his hands.
So then it finally happens.
Mm-hmm.
The moment of truth, Joseph reveals himself
To his brothers.
to his brothers.
I know.
And what's interesting is, like, this detail, he sends everyone out of the room.
Yeah.
And he starts weeping.
He weeps.
But, like, so loudly that the people outside can hear him.
It's powerful. It's like
Yeah,
emotion.
like, what must that have been like for him?
I mean, think about it. Like, he is finally confronting the people
Yeah.
who inflicted this deep wound on him.
Right. Years and years.
Years of pain, separation. Like, did they ever even,
Think about how
regret what they did?
I know, and then on the flip side, like, imagine being one of the brothers, right?
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Like, whoa, hold on. The victim of our betrayal is now, like,
He's in charge.
calling the shots.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be terrified.
I would be too, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have been like, oh no, here it comes.
Yeah.
Like, bracing themselves for revenge.
Right, because that would have been
Completely justified.
expected.
Expected.
Right. Especially, like, back then.
In that time period, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ancient Near East, that's how it was.
Eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah, but then Joseph does something.
He does.
completely unexpected.
Unexpected, he offers them
Forgiveness.
forgiveness.
He tells them not to be distressed.
Don't be distressed. Don't be angry with yourselves.
Like, really? Are you serious right now?
I find that so incredible.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Right.
Especially in that context. I mean,
Especially back then.
it's radical.
Yeah.
this act of forgiveness, it says so much about him.
It does. It really does.
Wow, his character.
And it also like challenges us.
It does.
To think about like, what does true forgiveness really even mean?
Yeah, what does it really look like? Because it's easy to say, oh, I forgive you.
Right, but to actually like mean it.
But to actually like embody it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame.
But what's even more interesting is like how he attributes this whole thing to divine providence, you know? This was all part of God's plan.
God's plan.
Yeah.
So he's saying that God orchestrated
this whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
To save lives, including his brothers.
Including his brothers.
Which is kind of amazing, you know, when you think about it.
It really is.
Right.
I mean, this idea of divine providence, I think, is key to understanding how Joseph was able to process this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not seeing his suffering, you know, as this meaningless, like, random act.
Right.
He sees it as part of a
bigger plan.
A bigger story. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bigger purpose.
And that allows him to move past, like, the bitterness and the resentment.
Right.
You know?
It's like he's able to transcend the pain.
Yeah.
And see the bigger picture.
Right.
Which is incredible.
It is. It's incredible.
It really makes you wonder, you know.
Yeah.
Could he have forgiven his brothers?
Without that
belief.
Right. It's a good question.
It's a huge question.
It is.
You know, I don't know.
I don't know.
It really makes you think, like, is forgiveness easier when you believe that there's like this higher power involved?
Yeah.
Or is this just like, you know,
a testament to Joseph?
Just the exceptional character of Joseph.
Yeah. I mean, because he doesn't just forgive them.
He doesn't?
Right. He then goes above and beyond to take care of them.
Above and beyond.
Like he arranges for them to live in Goshen.
The best land.
Which is like Egypt.
The prime real estate. Of Egypt, right. Like what?
It's significant, I think.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons.
It shows, like, you know, his desire to provide for them, to care for them. But it also shows just how much political clout he has.
Yeah, because it wasn't just him. Like, Pharaoh himself was impressed with Joseph. And he's like, yeah, sure, bring your family. We'll take care of them.
Absolutely.
I mean, that speaks volumes.
It does.
About Joseph.
About the kind of reputation he had.
He must have built up, you know?
Yeah, and I love that the text, like, doesn't shy away from the details.
Oh, yeah, it gets specific.
Like, it talks about the carts.
Yes.
It talks about, like, the provisions.
All the stuff they need.
The new clothes.
Yes. Like, come on, guys, we're gonna hook you up.
Yeah, and then it's like, he gives Benjamin,
yes,
the youngest,
extra gifts.
Like, I don't know, what do you make of that?
I think there's something there with the Benjamin thing.
I do too. And then you have Jacob, who, when he hears the news, the Bible says the spirit of their father Jacob revived.
I love that phrase.
It's
so powerful.
It's like, it just like evokes so much.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Like, what does that tell us about
the weight of this moment?
Yeah, the emotional weight.
The emotional weight.
Like, he must have been, like, carrying this grief
for years.
For years and years.
Years thinking
his son is dead.
Dead.
And to find out that he's not only alive but thriving. Like, can you imagine that wave?
That relief
of joy.
Joy.
It's almost like he was in this state of, like, suspended animation.
Yeah.
Until that missing piece of his heart was restored.
Right. It's like he was like holding his breath.
This
whole time.
Yeah.
And finally he can like
exhale.
Yeah, exhale.
It's a beautiful image.
It is. It's so beautiful.
It really is.
And you know, this whole story, it's not just a personal story, right?
No.
It's happening against this backdrop of
famine,
political intrigue.
Yeah, political intrigue.
Like, there's a lot going on.
There is.
And it's all kind of intertwined.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, Joseph's rise to power coincides with this devastating famine.
Right.
So he's not just saving his family, he's saving, like, an entire nation.
Right.
He's overseeing the distribution of resources.
Wow.
Like, preventing mass starvation.
Right. So we've got this, like, personal drama mixed with like these huge political implications.
I know, and he's carrying the weight
of everything
of his past,
yeah,
while also navigating the complexities of leadership.
It's amazing.
It really is.
When you really think about it.
It's a testament to his resilience.
Yeah.
You know, and his ability to channel his experiences into something positive.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, you know, like, how would any of us react in a situation like that?
You know.
Would we be consumed by the pain, by the betrayal?
By the betrayal, yeah.
Or could we find a way to forgive and to thrive in the face of such adversity? That's
a big question.
It's a huge question.
It really is like a question for the ages, you know?
For sure.
Like, how do you even begin to process that kind of, like, you know, trauma, betrayal,
yeah.
And then not only forgive, but, like, you know, use your position to
help, the
very people who wronged you. Like,
and during a time of crisis,
no less, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's just
I think it speaks to, like, this, you know, deep level of emotional maturity and self-awareness.
That
is really remarkable. You know, like, he could have so easily just let those experiences, like, you know,
consume him,
define him.
Yeah. And let the bitterness, like, eat away at him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The resentment could have just, like, taken over.
Yeah.
But instead, he chose a different path.
He did. It's amazing.
He really did.
And it's not just like a feel-good story, right?
No.
Because there are some serious political implications here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That we need to kind of, like,
unpack
a little bit.
Yeah, because his rise to power, you know, in Egypt,
it wasn't just some fluke, you know.
No, that was calculated. I mean, it shows his intelligence.
Yeah.
It shows his political savvy, his ability to navigate this very complex
social
political structure.
Yeah.
You know, like,
he's a foreigner. Like, come on.
Don't forget, he's a foreigner.
All right, like, to get to that position as a foreigner.
Yeah, to have that much power.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is.
And I think it gives us this really fascinating, like, glimpse into the political landscape of ancient Egypt.
Right.
You know, like, Pharaoh's willingness to elevate him.
Right.
Like, a foreigner to such a high position.
Yeah.
I mean, it suggests that maybe this society was more open
than we think
to outsiders than we might initially assume.
Right, because we always have these ideas about ancient cultures, but stereotypes, right? And this is reminding us that history is so much more nuanced than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Than just these simple, you know, black and white.
Right. And it makes you wonder too, like,
it does.
How did he navigate those cultural differences?
Right.
Like, did he completely assimilate?
Right.
Did he keep some of his own, like, you know,
cultural identity?
Yeah.
Like, how did he balance that?
Yeah, and I mean, these are questions that, like, historians and biblical scholars are still debating today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, there's no easy answers here.
No.
And that's part of what makes this story so interesting.
I think so.
It makes us curious, and it invites us to really think about,
you
know, the layers,
yeah.
The historical context, like, it's deep, man.
It really is. And speaking of layers, I think it's worth, like, taking a closer look at some of the characters in this whole drama, you know,
right.
Because they each have their own burdens to bear, their own secrets, their own regrets.
Yeah.
I mean, let's start with the brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, they made a terrible choice.
They did.
Driven by jealousy and resentment.
Yeah.
And then they had to live with that choice
for years.
4 years, not knowing what happened to them.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, the guilt that they must have been carrying?
Yeah, like, every time they saw their father.
You know. Oh, and the fear of being found out.
Oh, yeah.
And then to have to face him again.
Years later,
knowing that he's the one with all the power.
Talk about a psychological thriller.
Yeah, it really is.
It's intense.
It is, and it makes you wonder, like, had they even forgiven themselves?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Right.
You know, before Joseph forgave them? Had they even come to terms what they had done?
With their own actions?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's hard to move forward if you're still
carrying that weight.
Carrying all that guilt and shame.
Yeah, it's a heavy burden.
It is.
It really is.
And it's, you know, it's something that I think we all struggle with, right?
Oh, for sure. It's a human thing.
It's a human thing, you know?
We've all made mistakes.
Right.
Some bigger than others.
And that process of forgiveness, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not just like this one-time thing.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, yeah.
It really is.
And I think this story, it reminds us that forgiveness isn't about, like, forgetting what happened, you know?
Or condoning it.
Condoning it, yeah.
It's about acknowledging the pain.
The pain.
And then choosing to let go.
Letting go of...
The anger, the bitterness.
Yeah, the bitterness.
The resentment.
And then, like, you know...
allowing yourself...
to move forward.
To move forward, yeah.
It's tough, man.
It's tough. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
But it's possible.
And sometimes, like...
it takes time.
It takes time, yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes introspection.
Introspection.
Empathy.
Empathy, compassion.
And also, like, this willingness to see the humanity in the people who have hurt us.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's so huge.
It's so important.
It is. It is.
And it brings us back to Joseph because he's not just a victim in this story.
Right.
Right. He's so much more than that.
He is.
There's this complex
character.
Yeah, he's a complex character who rises above his circumstances. You know, who finds strength and purpose in the midst of adversity.
Yeah, it's a testament to, like...
resilience.
Resilience.
The human capacity for resilience and transformation.
Yeah.
I mean, it really challenges us to look at our own lives, you know? Like, how do we react when things get tough?
Yeah.
You know, do we allow those challenges to
break us?
To break us?
Yeah.
Or do we find a way to use them as fuel for growth, you know?
For positive change.
Yeah.
That's a choice.
It is the choice.
We all have to make.
It's a choice we all face.
At some point, yeah.
At some point, yeah.
And I think Joseph's story is like this amazing example of choosing forgiveness, choosing compassion.
Even when it feels impossible.
Yeah, when it feels impossible, but when you do, it can lead to healing.
To healing.
And to something so much bigger than ourselves.
It's humbling, isn't it?
It's humbling, and it's also empowering in a way, you know?
Yeah.
Because it reminds us that we have the power to make a difference.
To make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, like our struggles, right? Our personal struggles can be the catalyst.
For change on a bigger scale.
On a bigger scale, yeah.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it that way.
It is amazing.
Right. Like, his willingness to forgive his brothers not only heals their family, it helps to save
countless lives.
During this famine.
During the famine, yeah. It's a powerful reminder that our stories, you know, our triumphs, our tragedies, they're all woven together into this tapestry of human history.
Human history.
And the choices we make, they matter.
They do. They really do. Even the little ones, you know.
Even the little ones.
Yeah.
They have an impact.
It's powerful.
What stands out to you most about that? Like, about this aspect of the story?
I think for me, it's this idea that even in, like, the darkest of times, you know, when we're facing, like, unimaginable betrayal or hardship, there's still this flicker of hope.
Yeah.
There's still the possibility for redemption.
Reconciliation.
Yeah, like for something beautiful.
Beautiful.
To come out of all that pain.
Out of the ashes.
Yeah, it's powerful.
It's beautiful.
It really is.
It's a beautiful sentiment, and it's a message that really resonates, I think, across cultures and throughout history.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even when we feel like lost and broken, there's always a possibility for healing, you know?
Yeah.
For renewal. For starting again.
Yeah. And that's something worth holding on to, isn't it?
It is.
That belief that no matter what we've faced, no matter what mistakes we've made, there's always a chance to start over, to find forgiveness, and to create something better.
Something better,
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's a powerful message, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's really about, like, the enduring appeal of the story, right? Like, it's been told for centuries, and it still, like, resonates with us because it's about these universal themes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Betrayal,
forgiveness, the complexities of family
relationships, like, it's all there.
It's all right there.
And it's a story that really, like, it invites so many different interpretations, you know?
Oh, for sure.
We can look at it from, like, a historical perspective, right? Be like, okay, what was going on in ancient Egypt, like, politically, socially, you know?
Right.
But then we can also look at it from, like, this psychological point of view.
Yeah, like the trauma.
Yeah, like, wow.
The guilt, the forgiveness.
And then you can even look at it from, like, a spiritual perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What are the parts of the story that really speak to you?
Yeah, what stands out? Like, what resonates with you the most?
Yeah, like, is it the forgiveness piece?
Yeah, is it the idea that that even the most broken relationships can be healed.
Right. Or is it Joseph's resilience, like his ability to just like overcome all this stuff and then like,
achieve greatness.
Yeah, achieve greatness, even with all these challenges he's facing. Like, that's incredible.
Right. And then there's the political intrigue.
Oh.
Like you get this glimpse into like ancient Egypt and how
power works.
Yeah, how power works, like the behind the scenes stuff,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a story that makes you think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not just giving you all the answers, you know what I mean? It's asking us to grapple with like some really complex questions.
Like, what does it mean to be human?
Yeah, what does it mean to forgive?
What's the role of faith in our lives? Like, these are big questions.
They're huge questions, yeah.
And there's no easy answers.
There's no easy answers, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's not trying to like preach at us.
Right.
It's just presenting this powerful narrative, this glimpse into what it means to be human.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, now what do you make of it?
Right.
What's the meaning for you?
It's an invitation.
Yeah.
To draw your own conclusions.
Right. And to find your own meaning in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
It's pretty incredible. And I think as we kind of wrap up our deep dive here,
okay, I
want to leave our listener with one final thought to ponder.
Okay, I'm ready.
We often look at this story, as this story of triumph.
Yeah, triumph over adversity.
Overcoming adversity, right? Like, he came from nothing. Now look at him now,
Yeah.
But what if we kind of shifted our perspective a little bit?
Okay.
What if we looked at it as a story about forgiveness? Like about the power of forgiveness.
Okay.
And not just Joseph forgiving his brothers.
Right.
But also like the forgiveness that he might have had to extend to himself.
Oh, interesting.
For the choices he made,
Yeah.
the mistakes he might have made along the way.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, because we always focus on like the forgiveness that's given by the person who was wronged.
Right.
But we don't often think about like the inner work.
Right.
The self-forgiveness that might be necessary to really truly move on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's here.
Because forgiveness isn't just about like, absolving other people.
Yeah.
It's also about like releasing ourselves
From the guilt.
from the shame.
Yeah, the shame.
The regret, It's about giving ourselves permission
To heal.
to heal. Yeah.
And to grow even from the really painful stuff.
Absolutely.
It's hard though.
It is hard.
It's really hard.
But it's so worth it.
It's so worth it. And that's something we can all like try to do, right?
Yeah, to cultivate that capacity for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Both within ourselves and in our relationships with other people.
That's so powerful.
It is powerful because ultimately it's through forgiveness that we really open ourselves up to healing, to reconciliation.
To new beginnings.
To new beginnings, yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
So to our listener, we hope that this deep dive into the story of Joseph has given you some things to think about.
Yeah, maybe sparked your curiosity.
Yeah, sparked your curiosity and maybe even, inspired you to think about forgiveness in a new way.
Your own life.
In your own life, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey, everybody.
Thanks for listening. We encourage you to keep exploring this text. Read it, think about it, talk about it. Until next time, happy exploring.